Hello everyone, this is a video for assisted bodyweight exercises. For general upper body strength, we will focus on push-ups, pull-ups, and dips. For some, it may be difficult to perform these exercises based on their beginning strength. So the purpose of this video is to show you how you can adapt and use band tension to assist you in these exercises, so we may be able to practice these exercises perfectly. The first exercise in our progression is a pause push-up with the body weight relaxing completely at the bottom. We want to be able to practice full range of motion while having time to regroup ourselves for a full complete rep. I want to be able to practice with our body weight first before we get into assistance. Here we have a mini band attached to our pull-up bar. We're going to attach it to our waist before we start completing our push-ups. As we go down, we are becoming lighter, and as we go up, we are becoming heavy. We use assistance to allow us to practice the movement that we were physically incapable of using in the first place. So it gives us a simple spot. In order to reduce the amount of assistance, all you would have to do is take the band from both handlebars and only use one. This way that you are heavier at the bottom and you will be heavier at the top. So still focusing on our weakest point of the movement, which is the bottom, still practicing full range of motion. Once we have completed our primary exercises for the day, assisted push-ups, pause push-ups at the bottom, we will go into our assistance exercises, which would be our tricep extension. So we can use our band for tricep extensions, focusing on from the elbow to the wrist, not thinking of too much shoulder movement. I'm thinking of isolating the triceps, full extension, full stretch at the bottom. Once we have completed a few sets of higher reps, probably in the 15 to 20 range, then we will go over into our next exercise, which is our behind the head tricep extensions, full extension at the top while relaxing and getting a full stretch. Another variation of assistance exercises would be bicep curls that we can use from our bands. All you have to do is stand both feet on the bottom of the band, anchoring it to the ground, and completing our bicep curl from the elbow to the wrist. And once we complete that, then we can work on some shoulder upright rows. We can keep our hands and pull the band apart while keep thinking lead with the elbows, pulling it straight up. More accessory exercises will also include pull aparts, banded pull aparts. So what we're thinking about here is bringing the upper back completely together at the full range of motion, thinking about pushing the pinkies away from each other, pulling the band completely apart while contracting our upper back. This is going to create a very much stable position for our push-up position. Another way to practice our push-up position or our pressing activities is by just simply taking a band, crossing it and placing it behind our backs, and making sure that we're in a comfortable position with the band on our arms while having a good placement with our hands. So as long as it's in between the shoulder and the bicep, you should be okay. And from here, I will simply start pressing, thinking about keeping my upper back tight and practicing pushing with this tucked position from my elbows, not too tucked, as then it will become less optimal. I am not thinking about having my elbows completely flared. I want a nice, just comfortable tucked position with my elbows, and you can see from different angles as well. And I'm thinking about pushing my body away from the earth when I'm in push-up position. I'm thinking about pushing my body into the band when I am using these ideas in practicing push-ups with our band. For another day or another primary exercise that you can use and you can use our bands for assisted pull-ups as well. Just go ahead and loop it over both of them, just like we discussed in prior videos or exercises, and all we will do is just simply just wrap the band around our one of our legs, just push the knee up and pull the band underneath your leg, and so you have some type of assistance at the bottom, because everybody's weakest at the bottom position of the pull-up, while it is assisting you on the way up. So the next progression in our assisted pull-ups is simply take one band away, then you will make the pull-up harder. And so then you once you have completed and once you feel comfortable with two bands, you can take one band away, and then you can start challenging yourself more with a just single band. Going back to push-ups. So one thing that we are trying to avoid is pushing everything away from our body. I'm not thinking about pushing and unlocking my shoulders. This is creating a very detrimental position for our shoulders, very uncomfortable, and where a lot of pec strains come from. So what I'm focusing on is to keep my upper back tight, right there. Keep the upper back tight. So loose, tight, loose, tight. So keeping this upper back tight, and you can practice this movement with trying to keep the band as even as possible. As you can see, my band is not completely even, but trying to keep the upper back tight and maintaining that tight position. Once I maintain this tight position here, now I can start into my presses and maintaining this tightness. So I want to keep tight. Once again, it's loose and I'm locked in. My upper back is locked in, and now I can start my pressing movement. This idea keeps two things in mind, a few things in mind. One is that it keeps my shoulders safe. Second, it also keeps my idea that I'm decreasing the range of motion, so it becomes very much a simple exercise. And here we're getting into different tempos of tricep extensions. We can go from slow to fast to rapid. And so I'm thinking of practicing not for hypertrophy reason, not because I want to think about getting big. It's because I want to take care of my tendon strength and my tendon health, because in my joints, from my wrists to my elbows, because I have terrible elbows and wrists. I need to practice these a lot. And so we're going from our regular tricep pushdowns to our over behind the neck tricep extensions as well. Same concept from our bicep curls. We're practicing tempo, and I would prefer to grab the band rather than having it rest in my hands, because it can get some pretty good tension at the top, and so I want to be able to control the band in this regard. Keeping the same idea of tempo, you can go from slow to fast to rapid as well. Now that we're done with our upper body exercises, there's another series of exercises that we can get into for our back. It's very, very beneficial for our lower back health and our hamstring health and our glute health. So, easy way to put it on, just anchor it from your feet, put it around your neck. If it's not too comfortable, that's okay. There are different bands, and we can save this for later, but just for information's sake, one thing that I'm focusing on is hinging from my hips, pushing my hips back, finding a good solid stretch of my hamstrings, and then not going completely on the way down parallel to the ground. My upper body is not parallel to the ground. I want to keep it to where I have solid tension in my hamstrings. And as soon as I find tension in my hamstrings, pushing my hips back, I'm going to go up and squeeze my glutes, and then I'll complete those exercises. So the last idea for our upper body is practicing dips. If we have access to a dip bars, if we have access to dip bars, that's fine. All you have to do is loop it around the handlebars, put your knees on top of it, and start performing your dips. Simple exercises. We're thinking about, if we're not physically capable of doing something, that's okay. We can put ourselves in position to where we are now physically capable of performing those exercises. Chances are people don't like doing what they're not good at. That's okay. This is why we have our assistance work. It's the same thing with many other things. People may not be good at squatting. People may not be good at benching. But if I can put them in position to where they are physically capable of practicing perfectly, then that is the whole concept behind our training.